Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. Going to be bringing you guys a game between Kaipi and Alliance, which is also known as No Tidehunter, formerly at least. And it's going to be an interesting game here. Game 3 in this best of 3 series has been an interesting match thus far. Very, very one-sided games, just one going one way, one going another. But yeah, I wasn't sure necessarily about Game 2. It was a little bit bleak for them early on, and then No Tidehunter made a couple of poor decisions in the middle of team fights. And once it got to the late game, they didn't really have an answer for what Kaipi brought to the table, with the Death Prophet on a rise, and that of the Faceless Void as well, picked up by Highlighty there. So pretty interesting games, and we'll see how this series rounds on out. Game 3 of this match coming at you guys here. So once again, I am Blaze, and welcome back for the third time. This is Skim. How's it going, man?
Hey man, thanks for having me once more, and yeah, interesting pickups or drafts and bans so far. Actually, the Bad Rider, which did not work out for No Tidehunter earlier today, and I actually haven't seen them really being that successful with that hero, but well, maybe this time around they can break the curse.
No, it's actually, yeah, it's a solid hero in their history, but like you said, yeah, the past few games, the past few days haven't been the best with their Bat Rider, so definitely something they just have to fall back on and get back into their groove with, but definitely very confident that that's something that Kaipi should fear, because it's a great initiation hero, a lot of presence, and a lot of potential to really screw things over. The Nyx Assassin did get picked up really early on, though, and I'm curious to see if that'll be a 1v1 mid pickup, but with Kaipi selecting the Brewmaster here, that probably isn't going to be the case. Either way, Lone Druid comes out for Admiral Bulldog again, and also the Leshrac selected up there for, I think it's Ake, but either way, EGM or Ake will be picking that one up there.
The Kaipi players were kind of joking before Game 2 with about Admiral Bulldog's Lone Druid and how he entangled every third second, but man, the last game, Paladai on his Void dash every second as well. And yeah, let's see how this one plays out. I like the Brewmaster pickup. It is kind of a counter to the Lone Druid, because in your ultimate form, if you lift the bear, it's out for like what, 5 seconds, 6 seconds? I can't remember right now. And really nice play, really nice, yeah, skill to have.
The Primal Split thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 seconds at all for all targets, including heroes, so it's very, very powerful, but I don't think it's going to be like the 20-second duration that it was back in like really old Dota 1 days. I think they definitely fixed that up there, but nevertheless, it's still a great hero in a number of ways. You mentioned the Tornado counter, throwing it up so that they don't have to worry about that. Also, the Drunken Haze, I gotta say, is really, really strong. If you can't hit, you can't entangle, and from there, it's really, really good to make those misses happen. So either way, the Brewmaster will be able to make that work there, and it'll be an interesting setup for them. But how do you feel about their lanes right now as far as Nyx Assassin, Chen, and Brewmaster? They kind of want the Nyx solo, but they definitely want the Brewmaster solo more. So do you think you're just going to have a supportive Nyx on the top lane?
Yeah, I think Kaipi is going to play more conventional with the support Nyx Assassin and Brewmaster in the mid lane, whereas Tidehunter or Alliance, they can actually be a lot more flexible. Of course, Bad Rider is most likely going to be played by S4, seeing as Admiral Bullock will definitely play the Lone Druid. But they could still, I don't know, maybe even run the Lone Druid in the mid lane. We've seen that today as well. Switch up those lanes, maybe put up a Bad Rider in the jungle to be more effective there. Who knows?
We will have to see. But in the meantime, seeing the Enchantress ban coming out. I haven't seen that matchup in a long, long time, but Chen, technically soft counter by Enchantress. They can kind of steal each other's creeps back and forth, the enchant, the Holy Persuasion, and kind of be a little bit of a nuisance in that regard. Definitely not something that has been popularized in the past few months, but it is something that in the past used to be a lot of back and forth between those heroes. So picking up the Chen, banning out the Enchantress, they're like, okay, don't mess with my creeps. I want to hang on to those. So that'll be interesting. But other than that, the Clockwork ban, the Gyrocopter ban as well, coming out of No Tide. So they're really just worried on a couple different fronts. They're worried about the Gyrocopter just because how strong a hero he can be, and how well he was played in that situation in that last game. Come With Me played him supportively, but ended up having the items of a carry. It was really, really impressive there. And on top of that, the Clockwork taken off there, so they don't have to worry about Bone 7 initiating in that long range. But the final ban is going to be that Phantom Lancer. A bit of a concern. All things considered, still, they don't want to have to worry about that late game being relatively secured for Kaipi, and they're going to kind of keep them on their toes here.
I love how Kaipi banned out the Ogre Magi. I mean, like a month back, nobody would have even considered banning the Ogre Magi. Everyone would have laughed at your face if you considered it. But yeah, actually, it's
oh my gosh, and the Treant too. Wow.
And the Treant. That's really some sort of respect. But that the Shadow Demon. Actually, I'm surprised they let the Shadow Demon through. It's kind of an obvious pickup. I mean, the Shadow Demon and Leshrac have great synergy. Of course, LGD International has shown how much they love these two heroes, roaming around, getting and setting up kills, and yeah, Kaipi has to be aware of that constant threat. Maybe put up some good wards to prevent that from happening.
Yeah. Note Hunter, kind of well known for putting up those really, really high pressure aggressive tri lanes. The classic one for them, at least in the past few weeks, has been the Leshrac, Ogre Magi, and Treant combo. All three of those actually dish out quite a bit of damage. They can also add in a Marana instead of that Treant if they want to run that carry like that. Either way, what they accomplish there is a huge chain of order operation stuns where they go in with the Fire Blast and then the Split Earth, so on and so forth. But you know, they are playing their cards down, putting them on the table, and saying, okay, well, we know exactly what you guys have going on. We know your strats pretty well, and we're going to be able to draft against it. But the problem is you let something through. This Leshrac Shadow Demon is a force to be reckoned with. Disruption into Split Earth is going to be able to bring some people down very quickly, and you're not even going to have time to like Primal Split out of it if you're the Brewmaster that's targeted. So that's going to mean that they actually have all that pressure out, and honestly, I don't feel that Kaipi is going to be very, very fond of their laning situation. The mid game, it'll be great for them. They have a Nyx, they have the Brewmaster and Darkster. They're going to be a great spot there. But I feel the Chen is going to have to do work if they're going to be able to make it out of the laning phase and feel confident in their position here, especially with this Alchemist that follows on in for that devastating combo.
Yeah, I would actually like to see an aggressive tri-lane from NTH right there, because Alchemist is synergizes well with the Shadow Demon. You just disrupt him, channel your stun, and as soon as he comes out, you can immediately stun him. You don't even need a Split Earth with that, and that could actually work. And currently, even though Nyx Assassin is kind of hard to gank with its Spike Carapace, you can still definitely kill him. And depending on what carry Kaipi picks up right now, I guess Alliance is really considering that aggressive tri-lane, and I'm really worried about, I'm not worried, but excited to see this, because Alliance has kind of a gankish lineup with those two supports that are roaming, hopefully are roaming, and of course Bad Rider can always pick someone off, and Alchemist, if he picks up the Shadow Blade, I've seen Fnatic running around with the Shadow Blade as soon as he has it, doesn't even consider farming anymore, just get those pick-offs, because the heroes from Kaipi are kind of, at least Chen is really squishy, and depending, again, on the carry, might be squishy as well. And Kaipi, I guess they're banking a lot of on their team fight and teamwork, because looking at Darkseer, Brewmaster, even Chen, those are three very, very nice team fight heroes.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a lot of potential to really, really shut things down. They have the disable, they have the positioning control. What they need is the damage follow-up. So the Face of Void was rather effective last time around. I technically could see it working here, but they're really not confident about their laning. The Shadow Demon, Leshrac, Alchemist, like you said, the aggressive tri-lane seems to be really where they would shine the most. And they answer back with a Luna. She has a decent amount of potential in the sense that Chen will be able to right-click hard. She herself will be able to. Nyx Assassin benefits less from the Lunar Blessing because of the fact that he's melee, and he's going to only get a few chops in there, here and there. But nevertheless, come with me. You're going to be back on that main carry role while Pailati picks up the Chen. Just kind of going with what each individual player feels most comfortable with in this situation here. So yeah, going to be rough lanes, but presumably a 2.5 lane, potentially going up against an aggressive try. I mean, Admiral Bulldog still has the potential to just go up on that top lane and do his thing. He doesn't actually have to worry about like a Bane sleeping his bear or anything like that, so he will be able to manipulate creep waves if he so chooses, but it's pretty much how greedy Loda is. If he wants to go for maxing out the Grievel's greed, then he wants to go bottom lane. If he wants to go for kills and just pick up heroes over and over and make sure Luna never gets to a point where she's a threat, then that's going to be all about going for concoction, going for acid spray a bit, and really, really bringing things down with the EGM Ake Loda combo.
Totally agree, and at this point, I would be completely surprised if they didn't put up an aggressive tri-lane, because Luna is so squishy in the beginning, and they really have to bank on that. Just don't give her the space and time to farm up, and I mean, we've seen what happens if they give Kaipi the time and space to farm, and if they make a mistake. And at this point, I think if they put up an aggressive tri-lane, they could definitely win this game, because their laning is so strong. I mean, Admiral Bulldog or Lone Druid is one of the best solo heroes in a 1v1 situation, because the bear is so annoying to play against, especially, well, then again, it's probably against the Darkseer. Darkseer can, of course, creep skip and kind of avoid the Lone Druid, but still, it's annoying to play against. And Bad Rider is, of course, also really annoying with that sticky nail palm and those turn rates. And Arise, especially, being a melee carry, a melee hero, he has to walk in to get some right clicks, and he'll be immediately sticky, and yeah.
Yep.
let's see how NTH is going to play that one out.
Yeah, they don't really have too many options on Kaipi's side as far as how their lanes are going to work. They would love to run Zizu mid versus Batrider. It's actually a great matchup, having that mana burn early and maybe do a little bit of Bottle Crow, and suddenly you have that lane under wraps. But they're not going to get the Nyx versus the Batrider because they just really can't afford it in this position. There's no such thing as a supportive Brewmaster. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen a supportive Darkseer. So in this situation here, they have to have Nyx up top, helping out Luna as best they can. I would almost, if they project and expect an aggressive tri-lane to come on out, for Luna and Nyx Assassin to go down bottom, maybe even Chen in the enemy's jungle, that would be a better laning situation where they have Darkseer solo 1v3, play a little bit of musical lanes. But right now, who knows, right? We see immediately S4 picking up his standard mid items of 3 branches and a tango, but you can do so many different things with that, it's hard to say. We do see everybody making their move down on bottom, though, and I think, yeah, it's going to be defensive tri-lane, so kind of a moot point what I was talking about with Kaipi. They should just go defensive, of course, and we'll see what happens when we actually start clashing about 10 minutes in. Alchemist versus Luna. Who do you think has more potential?
Definitely Alchemist. I think his damage output is insane, even without many items. He just needs a Maelstrom and maybe a Shadow Blade. Doesn't even really need the Shadow Blade, and his damage output is insane. And you just farm so efficiently with the Greevil's Greed. And yeah, Luna, I don't know. I think she needs a lot of items to be that effective. I mean, of course, the Luna Glaives are really nice to have in team fights and yeah, 5-on-5 engagements. But
yeah,
overall, the damage output is just, yeah, you really need. First, you need to tank up a bit because she's so squishy. So you have to get a BKB, you have to get a Mensal, and even with those items, you're still not really dishing out a lot of damage.
Exactly. So yeah, she looks like she's going to be going for either a Basilius or an Aquila. Could go for Tranquils technically, but in this situation, it's not necessary because you're not going to get harassed that hardcore by the bear until after he's level 5. Speaking of, Bulldog, up to his old tricks. Moving on through with that creep aggro, and there's really nothing to be done about it. Like Chen,
yeah,
he doesn't have anything before the 30-second mark, and along with that, the Nyx Assassin only has the 1 Impale. So even tangoing up a little bit just to make sure he can... I never understand it until it finishes. I never really understand what he's doing. I know what he's doing right now is going to stack up 2 creep waves on top of each other, so the lane inevitably pushes, but it just looks so weird. He's actually moving it so that he can block that hard camp as well. Like, this guy just has all these crazy ideas, and I just, like, it's difficult for me not to just watch this bear for the first, like, 2 minutes of the game, because I mean, look at what he's doing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know, he's perfected his bear play over and over again, and he just knows how to be really annoying on this offlane. And at this point, I think Kaipi should just let the bear be and just try to get some farm in the jungle and rotate with his 2 supports into the mid lane immediately, just to get something out of this, because at this point they're really not getting a lot of farm.
Yeah, very awkward for them. We do see 1 melee creep made it to the party. He's like, guys, where did we go? But anyways, he's gonna be able to go up and just try to man mode on some ogres. Either way, some farm for the supports, but not so much. Not really stacking up very hardcore. We do actually see penned in. He almost got trapped, but he still has 1 tango left. Either way, come with me, trying to screw over this panda, but he's just like, I can do whatever I want. Taking them all the way around the scenic route towards this secret shop here. And yeah, he's going to be able to move an entire army of dire creeps right in behind this tier 1 tower and find pretty much the safest farming place on the planet with this next creep wave coming.
By the way, Paladai and Come With Me did switch up the heroes. I would have been surprised if Come With Me did not pick up the Chen, because he's a designated jungler. So
yeah, and he's actually played Chen plenty of times in his past games. I mean, he's been off the grid for a little while, but he used to play Chen very, very effectively, and yeah, so he's back on that bandwagon there. But they did swap it up so that Pile ID is going to be once again on the carry role, which seemed to be working out extremely effectively in the last game at the very least. Anyways, as far as the other lanes, not much to say about Loda. Just going to be maxing out his Greevil's Greed, getting as much right clicks, free farm 100%. He'll get tons of gold per minute. The situation up top, Bulldog finding his level 2 very shortly, and he's in a happy position as a result of that. Actually, another set of creeps. I mean, this is still a double stack
mid lane,
but the first blood does come on down. They did rotate on in, and we do see actually the Split Earth falling after that disruption, and just a little bit of Firefly damage on top of the Edict. They burst down Panda really, really quickly, and that's a problem. That's obviously something they want to avoid as much as possible. Panda doesn't have too much mobility, too much escape before that ultimate comes out, and they're able to find a really, really easy kill. So finally, the silence is broken, kind of just concentrating on all those other things on the side, but finally they start making moves on the other lanes, and yeah, this is the kind of thing that Alliance really wants to start off on the right foot. They want not only free farm on the Alchemist, which they are absolutely getting, but along with that, they want to be able to control and contest the mid lane directly, so that Brewmaster isn't going to be able to get as many effective disables off as he would intend.
Yeah, and I mentioned it in the draft, and I'm really surprised they didn't do it, because when you have an opposition with the Shadow Demon on the track, you really need Ward Vision. Not just Observer, sentries as well, and they just walked in and basically got a freebie right there, and there's going to be an answer, though. Yeah,
bad for S4 right here. They're not going to the courier, but they do surge on in. Zizu going to be able to get that stun. They have the ensnare to follow up. There's no way he's getting out of this one. Not at all. And that's going to be 1 for 1. Both kills on the mid lane. But I do have to say that Alliance were not only getting the first blood with theirs, but they also committed less to it. They were only sending in 2 supports, and in this sense, it was a 4 versus 1. But they do actually get some tower damage as well, because the Chen can push that effectively and keep those summons coming from the skeletons there.
Yeah, but one flame break is kind of going to divert the push, at least the creep wave. Still, they do have a catapult, so they might actually bring this tower down.
I don't know about down, but it's definitely going to drop low. We're talking about 200, 300 HP. It's going to be quick, and Snare comes out once more. He does a nice flame break, though, peeling it away so Rise can't get that clap. That's what he's been looking for, but those napalm charges so darn difficult to deal with. And he keeps on stacking them. He actually has 5 charges going off the cliff, goes for the bottle charges because he's not taking right-click damage, and almost could actually go in, at least to kill this little troll summoner. So that does interrupt a lot, but the Impale does land. He has to get up the cliff this very second. The mana burn comes through, but it's not enough. And so S4 will survive and waste a heck of a lot of time. These supports don't want to be just sitting on top of the mid lane looking for a kill that's not going to happen, because every single second means Lone Druid's getting experience on the lane and forcing out a little bit from Luna, as we see her doing some Lucent Beam harassment, burning down Bulldog, but not as much as she would prefer. Lucent Beam does come on through, but gets actually line of sighted by the fact that he's able to juke to the west. So very, very good movement there. Wouldn't have killed him. I mean, he still had 200 HP to work with, and that magic damage mitigation
another rotation mid.
But actually, yeah, more action on mid. They get the disruption, get the split earth, and they're going to be able to bring down a Rise once more. Good call on that one there. There's just, honestly, really good movement from Alliance. They're keeping Bulldog alive, they're keeping him active, and they brought down the Brewmaster for the second time. Yeah, S4 has had some issues in making sure that he's staying alive, but in general, he's finding more opportunities and wasting more of the time of Kaipi Gaming. So 2 for 1 in favor, and we can definitely see that on the gold graph as the Grievous Greed, the tower pressure, it's all doing work as they move in towards a higher and higher gold advantage.
Yeah, once again, I'm really surprised they still don't pick up a place award, because was it EGM? I'm not sure. Yeah, it was EGM. He walked all the way just around the river just to get a disruption off, and he was not spotted at all by nothing. Yeah, and they got a tower out of this. This is going to be a fast Blink Dagger on S4. He's going to transition into the jungle, and yeah, his Blink Dagger should be out by like 9 minutes, even earlier.
Panda Bear still at work. Double Stout Shield now. Just wants to screw over the creep wave as much as possible, and I'm assuming it's been done to great effect. Honestly, I've never sure how to interpret how this all works itself out, but he is getting his experience, and you can't argue with those results. So, really nice for him. He has the full creep wave, and he will be able to just kind of pick it apart here. Interesting movement from Ake. This Sentry Ward over in the enemy's jungle. He's kind of doing it like as a Chen player who knows what he's doing. In that kind of situation, he knows what would mess with him, and he's like, don't do that. Don't do that to me. We actually see Lasso coming in from S4, though. No Napalm stacks yet, but Ake set up for an easy split Earth. There's actually just going to be the Edict for now. He doesn't have mana for both. Now it does come back up, and he's going to go for that split earth. Needs to land it now. Arise does not actually get stunned, but he's too close to the fire, to the flame. He does get finished off in the end. And, of course, Haste Rune plus Lasso is pretty strong right here.
Yeah, really nice movement coming out. Making sure to actually take advantage of the night vision currently, because it's dark, and I think he didn't see Aki right there. And the sentry you mentioned, I don't think it's actually against or for the Chen. I think it's actually for the Darkseer, or it was meant for the Darkseer, because he was stacking that camp to get some farm down there. But,
Okay.
oh well. Now it's Aki that can't really make use of that.
Yeah, he tried to actually stack it up there by pulling it away at the right time, but it just didn't work out for him. So, one way or another, I actually didn't think it would be effective because that double stack was there and Chen wasn't really biting on that just yet, but actually does actually see its use. So, good timing from Ake, despite not actually seeing that coming. Either way, stacks are speaking of stacks that are being very effectively farmed, Loda getting a ton of greedy gold right on out of that with the passive active, just cleaving on through at least 2 full camps. And yeah, really shooting up his GPM, 492. He's going to be looking for, you know, one of those 1K quad-digit Alchemist games, but he's going to have to put some kills on the board if he's going to accomplish something like that. And right now, the first target of choice looks to be Bone 7. He's relatively vulnerable, even if he has rank 2 Surge. But they need to get good flanking off in order to make that happen. First, we see the Blink Dagger, S4 pulling on in, Fire Lady up on the top lane. He has the Eclipse, though. Will not pop it off just yet with the Flame Break. Put him down on the ground. He's actually turning very slowly, so the Lucent Beam taken a long time. And here finally comes the Eclipse, burning down the Bear. The Entangle actually won't come on through, and he's actually just going to get sent back from the Test of Faith. So the Chen creep does fall, but Pylite does kill a Bear and actually makes it home safe and sound.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Bone 7 goes down the bot lane. Did not see what happened, but I assume that Aki just caught him off guard
yeah,
in combination with Loda.
Yeah, exactly what happened. The Disruption's on cooldown still, so we can see that they just were able to do that combo. Concoction on top of that Split Earth and Disruption. That's exactly what I was saying, like moments before. Bone 7, as fast as he may be, they still have a great combo, and just coming out on the lane puts him in a rough spot. Speaking of, Admiral Bulldog might take a Lucent Beam here, dropping down to 20 HP with a good flank from Arise. Didn't even see him coming in there, but able to really get in the right position, clapping him on down, finishing him off, and actually taking down a tower. So, one tower. Some pressure coming down on the bottom one, but it's actually going to be the death of Bone 7 once more. Got the wall off, so some good illusions cleaving on through, but beyond that, not a big deal. And they're just going to be slightly delayed in their push, inevitable push on the tier 1.
This is the Shadow Blade for Loda, and he's going to be a huge threat right now. He did not pick it up. Yeah, drop the branch right there. Okay, now he has the Shadow Blade, and he's going to be a huge threat. Going to dish out a lot of damage, and yeah, his farm is already in an insane rate, and it's just going higher and higher. And looks like Kaipi want to pressure the top lane.
They are actually going to have S4 jump on in again with that lasso, but he's not actually going to be able to pull her any further away, at least doesn't intend to. Another Test of Faith coming out and just negates all of their endeavors. They're like, okay, we really want to bring down this Luna. Second lasso consecutively, pretty much back-to-back cooldowns, but she shrugs it off. She survives. They do use that time to put damage into the tier 1 and get that gold on the table, but nevertheless, Luna hasn't dropped yet, and until she does, she's still going to be able to keep her relatively strong late game as something that they have to look out for.
Yeah, but again, it's still just relatively. I mean, Bulldog is getting some decent XP up there, getting farm even, and I would say he has a better time than Bone 7, even though Bone 7 farm is a bit better. And then, of course, Loda is getting a lot more farm than Luna. So in this current matchup, I'd say that Loda definitely has the advantage. And the gold graph, yeah, it's 3k in favor for NTH, and for 3k in terms of experience as well. And as long as Kaipi does not, I don't know, maybe smoke gank the Loda or get some sort of movement going, I don't see them coming back into this game, because it's keeps getting harder and harder for them.
Yeah, Luna has the Tranquil Boots moving in towards that drum. She'll be able to be super swift in engaging because she already has the highest base movement speed in the game. So she's able to just lope on into there and get a really good Eclipse off. But she needs to hit level 11 quickly if that's going to be even more than just a little bit of pain. We do actually see down on bottom another kill on Bone 7. He just has to quit. Like, he's in this position again, right underneath where the tier 1 tower used to be, but that's not a safe place anymore. And with the Shadow Blade, really, Loda making him fear what he does not see. Now, EGM is going to be pressured hard. Does get that disruption off, but here comes the ensnare. Does that have that damage coming on in? Arise will put out some damage popping off the split here, but it's actually going to be Come With Me that gets bursted down after the lasso came on through. So really good fight for them so far. And now they're going to be able to try to clean it up. EGM is trying to smoke out. That doesn't work anymore, and he does get dropped down in the end. So he does fall, but the Brewmaster in a bad spot. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He gets stunned out, and that should be his death if they get a single darn entangle. But the Bear doesn't have boots. He doesn't even have he doesn't have phases. He doesn't have regular boots. And now we do see that that's going to be a pickup on Arise. It looks like Arise got his Blink Dagger, so he was able to make his purchase nevertheless, and that pretty much eliminates any unreliable gold that he would have lost from the death. But it's still a kill, and a kill is what they were looking for this entire time.
Yeah, EGM really tried to smoke up there. I'm not sure if it was an accident or if he just actually thought that it was still possible. But...
Yeah, I mean, it was something that was super awesome in the right situation, but actually down on bottom, that is bad for S4. Mana burn to finish it off. Or it's actually in the top lane, but nevertheless, we see Zizou slowed on up, the disruption coming out. He feels he has the backup, but right now he's actually just going 1 versus 1 onto Pylite. EGM is level 8, and he's actually going to be able to finish it off. Now trying to run, no, he's going to fall before the Magic Wand can come on out. But, you know, picking up a kill on the Luna. Man, he is manly, and he made it work. So coming on in, Zizou has a Carapace rank 2. Whether or not that's going to work for him, we'll have to see. The stun does come on out. He actually gets, yeah, that actually works perfectly for him because the Acid Spray was still ticking away. So the Carapace works itself out, and with that, the TP is successful.
Yeah, Luna overcommitting a bit. I think there was a falsy communication. I think he was like, dude, let's take out the Shadow Demon. We can definitely take him on. And Paladai, who was the next? Zizou, yeah. He still had the purge on, so he was kind of scared to get some damage going on because he could have gone down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a little bit of underestimation as well. I mean, taking that risk was unnecessary because the Shadow Poison stacks up so darn quickly. It's very, very crazy how fast this Shadow Poison actually starts dishing out crazy damage. It multiplies by 4. I don't know. It's just like over and over and over. It adds in so much damage. You guys can look at the math up on it, but every single stack is extremely impactful to the point that when he had 4 charges on him, that was absolutely a dead Luna. But still, they have potential. They still have that vacuum moving in. It's rank 2 now, but it should be rank 3 eventually. They'll have a mechanism on Darkseer in about 950 gold. And he does have that Wall of Replica already up and available. So they're relying on the Brewmaster ulti once he gets that off cooldown to blink on in, get the clap, followed up with Primal Split, vacuum and Wall of Replica, and that kind of a team fight where they have that initiation and they start things off on their terms. I really, really think that Kaipi still can win a fight. The problem is the late game status. We've been talking about this Alchemist, and for good reason. He's been farming his mind off. Right now, 86 CS. He's gotten a couple kills, a couple of assists, adding up to a GPM of 540. So with this current item set, he'll be able to get maybe an AC or a Mjolnir along with his Shadow Blade and just dish out so much damage. What's Luna got? She's got her drums. She can move in towards BKB now, but she's not very durable in of herself. We do see almost a pick off on Ake, but he's actually just going to walk away here. And S4 cleaning it up on Bone 7 very, very conveniently there. So just finding a good flank, a good opportunity, and it looks like Zizou is going to Vendetta in to try to get a snipe off. Could go for the courier, could try to go for Ake. Goes for, yeah, he finds Ake, so he's going to be able to bring him down. Easy right click and killing spree for Zizou.
Yeah, once again, Bone 7 being a bit overly aggressive. Once again, they did not have any ward vision ups whatsoever. Ooh,
more action from Loda, using that Shadow Blade so darn well. Concoction every single time, and they just don't see it coming. No sentries at all. Up on top lane, we actually see S4 in a pretty rough patch himself, but it looks like he's confident in his position, even with the Hand of God coming out. He's going to have to Firefly out of this, though. He is getting a little bit disabled by those Chen creeps, and the tower push continues on. Now coming on in, though, EGM, getting that disruption off. They're actually going to be able to bring him down pretty hardcore. Test of Faith comes out on Pylite, so he will survive. Not so much for Come With Me, as he, once again, gets dropped down, and they don't have much to show for it in this position here.
I gotta say, a bit misplay by EGM there. If he had disrupted the Chen, they might have actually bursted down the Luna. He practically saved the Luna. I mean, he was sent back anyway, and the disruption kind of gives you the extra time to just be sent back. But if they had focused the Luna with all their bursts, they could have easily killed her. She's so squishy right now. She does not have anything aside from treads and the drums.
So everything is so darn spread out. Why do you think they're not going for a 5v5 engage?
I'm not sure, actually.
Sentry actually, Zizou's going to try to turn this around. Carapace probably negates that sentiment, though. Sorry.
I guess they're waiting for Bone 7 to finish his mech, so they can finally, they do have better teamfight potential, but I'm actually not sure. I totally agree. They should definitely 5-on-5.
Okay. Stun coming out. They're going to try to burst down on Ake, but that's a fool's burden because we actually see it's charging up this concoction. Zizou, no, they're actually going for both. They're greedy right here. They're going to go in, try to pick off the Nyx Assassin, slowing him on down, burning him down gradually, whereas Bone 7 is just going to get right-clicked away. The vacuum does not succeed, but the Surge does keep his distance. So, Loda not able to get any assist gold or experience, just trying to go for something that wasn't his to claim. Actually, Entangle Proc comes out. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but with that Entangle Proc, they can go for the Flame Break and the Disruption just to make sure that TP will not be successful. So Pylite will be another casualty of war.
Yeah, once again, I can't stress this enough. Kaipi is super aggressive, and they don't have any ward vision to back that up. I mean, Paladai, who was trying to pressure the tier 2 mid, but he was completely in the dark. He He had no vision whatsoever. He was surrounded and he didn't know it, and he paid for it.
Yeah, right now their only foothold is that bottom rune ward, and yeah, they understand S4 has a regen rune. Great knowledge for you, but really, they're not accomplishing too much. Generally speaking, it seems like they only have like one ward up at a time. They had one ward in the mid, they had one ward on the bot rune, but it seems like they don't have it consistently in the positions that they're getting themselves into. So they're going in blind, as you said, and they honestly are going to be losing engagements when they don't have the vision advantage, when they know that when the enemy knows what they don't. And of course, that's kind of the element of surprise, and that's where Dota 2 teamfights break out, is where people think that they can make something happen when they can't. And on top of that, oh, that is painful. Come With Me and Bone 7 are both picking up mechanisms.
Oh, really?
That's a lot of gold. For these lowly supports, I mean, Bone 7 died so many times right now. GPM of 250 and 230, and they're both picking up the same 2,300 gold item. That's 10 minutes of farm.
This is something which should never happen in a team. Like, I mean, I can understand it if it happens in a, I don't know, pub game, but
sure.
In a team that's actually coordinating or communicating, they should definitely know, okay, I'm doing the mech, I'm doing the pipe, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they can go for pipe out of it. It's not 100% lost in gold, but still, if they finish up the mechanism, they've wasted so much, and even now, it's still setting them far behind of core items that could actually improve their chances to fight.
Exactly. So, well, too bad. Anyway, well, to be fair, they did have an aggressive ward in the enemy jungle, which is actually something why I'm not sure Zizou even hung around. There was a ward like right here on in the jungle, and he was spotted out as you mentioned, but
yeah.
They still stayed even though they saw that there was a Leshrac. They stayed. They were greedy and yeah.
Very, very difficult for them now. In this position here, they're taking fights that just aren't theirs, and in this situation here, of course, we see it adding up 14-6 as far as that kill count. Adding it up, we do see a big gold advantage, 8k. You'd expect some advantage from an Alchemist team as far as their farm goes in general, but this is a little bit overwhelming for Kaipi here, and the experience tells it even worse. We do see the initiation coming on in, bringing down Pilates with his lasso. Here's that big damage. He actually has a DD rune on top of his rank 2 ultimate, doing so much damage here. Bone 7 going to be dropped down by some good entangles, some good flame breaks. EGM might be another casualty of this primal split, but just so many right clicks, they're going to drop extremely swiftly. I don't even know what the rest of the team thinks they're doing there, because there's really nothing to claim. Pilates gets entangled, gets stunned, and he's shredded in 3 auto attacks. It's just ridiculous how much damage he can output, and how little they're respecting that. Arise's ultimate is over. They're slowing him down, and it should be a full team wipe. A very gradual one at that, but coming on in, Zizou needs to be entangled up in order to bring him down. Admiral Bulldog just trying to block him up to actually get that kill. They do get the kill on the Brewmaster on the top, and actually they do find another one. There's a quick disconnect coming on out, but it looks like Loda was able to find the Chen, and that was all the way underneath the tier 2. So Loda finding yet another opportunity, and on top of that, looking for Zizou. I do think they can finish off the Nyx Assassin here on top of everything they've already claimed.
Oh, there's a GG well play call, so
it doesn't matter. That is going to be it.
Doesn't really matter.
Quick disconnect, but they're so far behind right now. That team fight was really, it was atrocious. The way they went in there, the Brewmaster jumping on in, Primal Split's great, but they had already picked off immediately one of the big core heroes, and from there they really couldn't follow it up. They did like
it was once again bad team coordination. I mean, Bone 7 stood there. He had the perfect chance for a 5-man vacuum into the wall, but he didn't do anything. He was like, okay, we're not taking this team fight because Luna is down after all. But after he tried to retreat, Panda immediately blinked in, split, and yeah, from then on it was just Bone was down and there was no wall to back that up. So bad communication after all.
And now S4 doing his standard trolley thing on top of the wall, Replica trying to burn himself down. May not actually fall to it because it does expire. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that is how the game played itself out. The experience graph especially telling the story of how it just got worse and worse as it just kind of moves in towards that infinite asymptote. Because, yeah, they had such an advantage. They were able to claim a ton of map control through towers. They got a bunch of pickoffs left and right. Though there was a couple of engages that weren't favorable for them. But all in all, Kaipi walked themselves into a lot more trouble. They walked themselves into a lot of situations they weren't prepared to handle, and from there it just wasn't relevant.
Yeah, I totally agree. If they had better vision, they could have at least taken some team fights or at least backed up their aggression, but yeah, they were blind most of the time.
So there you go. So these guys clowning around a little bit while the last disconnect from Come With Me should be coming out shortly, but nevertheless, I mean, this has just been a a really, really successful game. There's the disconnect. But really, really awesome game from No Tide / Alliance. They were able to clean this up nicely and just kind of play much more their style rather than the forced issues that was kind of what we saw in the mid-game of Game 2. Either way, what we're going to be going on into next, guys, is a little feature we have after the match called Ask the Pros. It's a post-match interview that I'm going to be doing with one of the members of No Tide Hunter, so one of the players there, based on the fact that they did, of course, win the match there. So we'll be checking out with them shortly, and we do see finally the Ancient Falls. So that'll be what we go on into next, so you guys want to stick around that for a few more minutes, and we'll get some cool insight out of one of their individual players there. And you guys also get the opportunity to ask those questions by typing in the chat when I do requests for them, which again will be in a few minutes at twitch.tv/thepremierleague. So you guys can check it out there if you're in Dota TV, and that's where we'll have the interview itself. But anyways, Skim, do you have any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, overall, NTH just impeccable coordination, and just the draft overall was it just fit their playstyle, and it was perfect, I want to say. And Kaipi, it felt a bit off. I mean, the Brewmaster pick so early on felt a bit off, and it didn't really connect, and yeah. Hopefully we'll see more from both teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the near future. I mean, there will be a few more games coming up this week. For Alliance specifically, they're making up for a lot of lost times in the Premier League where they had either themselves postponing a game with a wild card or one of their opponents did so. It just happened that way, where we have, I believe, 2 more games coming out of this team here. So great way to move things forward towards the playoff bracket. They're going to be a lot closer to that position there, but I still think they need one more win to secure a slot over one of the other teams. So we'll be checking them out tomorrow versus Team Liquid at 20 o'clock Central European Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But other than that, again, going on into Ask the Pros in just a little bit, but a quick shout out to Skim. Thanks for coming on into cast the game with me and having some awesome opportunities for this best of 3.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, looking forward to cast more in the future with you.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. And thanks again, viewers, for tuning on in. You guys are the ones that make it possible there. So, Skim, if you real quick want to plug your stream or Twitter or anything like that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter under Skim Gaming and on Twitch under Skim Gaming as well.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys want to check me out, if you enjoyed the commentary there, you can check me out at twitter.com/blazecasting. That's where I'm posting up everything as far as where I'm going to be providing some coverage. I do have YouTube and Twitch under the same name, but those are kind of gathering some dust at the moment, at least. So we'll see. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll go on into Ask Pros in just a few minutes.